What if anything you put a hat on came to life? Frosty the Snowman style. So for this, basically, you got a hat, you put it on any inanimate object, and it comes to life in a, Christmas special cartoony fashion.
Anyway, like Frosty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Frosty the Snowman, except it applies to also non-snowman things.
Yeah.
So my initial vision for this was basically like a Beauty and the Beast type cacophony of different household items all doing their chores for you.
But they all have to be wearing a hat.
Well, yeah, I'll buy hats in bulk to not have to do chores.
Like mini hats or like normal size hats?
Yeah, mini hats, like, action figure hats and doll hats and different things like that. And they're like, so this is great in theory. But then I started thinking, like, now you have this conscious, object. How many of these items are actually going to want to do the thing that they're designed to do if they had any say in the matter? And going back to the Beauty and the Beast, my first thing I was thinking of was Lumiere. So if you're a candle and you light yourself, you're literally just melting your own body and hastening your own death.
This is true.
They never address that in the movie.
And it kind of sucks for household chores because it's basically like this I don't want to do my job is like basically all cleaning things. Like sponges are not gonna want to do their job because it's just like, hey, get in touch with this nasty food. Cleaning cloth, rags, like vacuums don't want to suck up all that dirt and shit. Like it's probably gross.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the cleaning chores actually get taken care of by hats because you're going to put your hat on something and your vacuum cleaner's going to be like, nah.
And then you have to buy a new vacuum cleaner.
I mean, you can take the hat off.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, it works too. Let's not be rash here.
So a couple things I would not recommend putting a hat on. Obviously, like I said, the sponge and anything used to clean. Anything disposable, like a match or like an eraser, seems like it would not be super happy with what you want it to do. And really, do not ever, under any circumstances, whatever your kinks are, put a hat on your toilet. That's just horrible. Like, there is no way you can bring something into this world and then take a shit in its mouth and it's okay.
Who says that the opening is the mouth? The mouth could be like on the top somewhere. You don't know.
That's a good point.
I think that if any part of the toilet is the mouth, it has to be the bowl.
What if the bowl of a toilet is the butt of a toilet?
Yeah, what if you're pooping into the butt of the toilet?
It's just a weird kink now.
That doesn't make it any more okay. You're putting poop in it. Like, I don't care what orifice it is. Don't put poop in me. Like,
wait, you don't like
mouth,
people pooping
nose,
into your butt?
Ears, it's all off. Do not put poop anywhere. So I really didn't actually think of too many things that actually are helpful to put a hat on to do chores. One tricky one I thought, which I was like, oh, this one will be good. One, it won't mind doing its job, is if you have like a knife, you can get, to do prep for like the kitchen. You can save a lot of time cooking doing that. Mm-hmm. And a knife probably has more control over how it cuts than you do. And then I realized the problem is probably going to getting the hat back. Because this thing's going to know if you take off its hat that it ceases to exist. And now you've just made literally a living weapon.
So how is the knife wearing the hat? Is it on the blade?
Yeah, I think you just put it on the blade and then it kind of just magically floats there for a little bit. Or maybe you have to get like a very long and shallow hat with with a very narrow head that just goes all the way through, and you can put it on like that, like a cowboy hat.
I feel like it would be hard for the knife to keep the hat on him while trying to stab you.
I figured what you do. You can only do it on one of those knives where they have like the little like lip at the end of the handle. And you kind of put it on like diagonally on the handle, and you get one of those like little helmets with a strap on it. Try to tighten it on.
Yeah. Give him a little thing.
That works.
Then you'll never get that hat off.
No, yeah, you will not. That is true.
So you gotta be real good buddies with your knife, which is gonna be pretty hard because he doesn't have consciousness until you put a hat on him. So
your knife could be a real dick, and you would not know.
Maybe if you like chain it down to the cutting board, like put a chain on the back of it and like connect it so it can't like chase you.
Well, he's not gonna like you after that.
Yeah, this is like a really, really bad way to start a relationship with a knife.
Yeah, then he's like guaranteed to hit you.
I guess, but the problem is, even if you get away and he can't get at you, you've now just surrendered that part of your house.
Right, exactly. And like anything
that's
that chops
his corner
for
of
you,
the kitchen now.
You can't get anything that chops for you now because it's just gonna like stab you up when you go for it.
Yeah, so there wasn't too much helpful, but I think where you do actually get the best benefit is not your morning routine, but when you finally go outside and you get into your car. Because what I am waiting for in the year 2018 is for self-driving cars to finally become a real thing that actually work the way you want them to. Not that I have a self-driving car that works the way I don't want it to. I just have to drive my own car. I'm not complaining about my half self-driving car here. I just want to be clear.
There's no commentary on the quality of self-driving cars.
Right.
Oh, no, it's a comment on that
yeah.
they don't work yet. But I think a car would want to go around. Like, a car would be happy to drive you places. You know, it's like when you run around and it's nice. Like, Ben, you run. There's some joy in it.
It's nice, yeah.
Not when it's like raining or snowing, though.
Would they want to be in traffic?
Yeah.
That'd be boring.
But then they're just meeting up with their buddies.
I guess that's
They
true.
can just chat, yeah.
Yeah, so like the car is gonna just be the car is gonna be like up and about and doing shit.
I don't know. It's kind of just like waiting in line at like the bank. You don't really talk to them.
Well, is it the option between like waiting in line at the bank or staring at a wall, which is like your driveway? Like,
Wait, you can't let them roam free in the fields?
I think you can let them roam free. Like, if you could work out with your car, be like, hey, you drive me to work and back every day. I will feed you with gas because without me, you're gonna die.
Your car basically becomes a horse.
Does it get really, really awkward when you take your car in for like an oil change? Is that like really uncomfortable for the car and the mechanic now?
Maybe there's like, hey, maybe like, I guess it's up to the car. Like, if you have a choice to like be anesthetized in a procedure, it's like that choice.
That
where
makes
it's like,
sense.
hey, I gotta go in there and fiddle with your bits. You can choose to not be conscious for it, or you can choose to be conscious for it if you want.
Also, if you
Your
get
call.
pulled over for speeding, is it your fault or the car's fault?
Does your car have
Depends
to
who's
have
driving.
its own insurance?
A lot of questions are coming up.
Does the car need to have its own insurance?
Like
I think-
life insurance.
Yeah, I guess the car gets life insurance and you still have car insurance.
Does the car have to have its own license?
No, I think you could.
That's like
I don't
walking.
think so.
You don't have to,
like,
you don't need a license to walk.
Fair enough.
I mean, he might need to know the rules of the road, but I feel like they're not very hard for a car to learn.
True.
Also, you can just ask around. Like, the car can just ask other cars, like, dude, what's this red thing mean? And then, like, that's a stoplight. And
I
they're
think
like,
they'll pick it
oh,
up pretty quick.
yeah. So basically, what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a car. He's gonna like drive to work and then just like hang out a bunch. I guess they're probably gonna get kind of bored. So I kind of think, like I said, you don't really own your own car as much. Basically, just every car is like a bored Uber. Because I think they're just gonna roam around and probably like, you know, maybe they pick up other people, maybe they hang out with other cars. They kind of just do their own day.
I guess they can't really do other tasks other than driving.
Right.
Yeah. So I think the only claim you have to your car once you put the hat on is that you are the person fueling it up. Like, it needs you to provide it fuel, and that's about it. So don't piss off your car, I guess, and make sure it doesn't figure out how to gas up on its own or make better people friends. So one other thing about all those cars is that there's a lot of them. I imagine almost everyone's going to want to get on the self-driving car train. Because, like, even if you only do, like, half the cars, there's 236 million cars in the US. So that'd be like 120 million hat cars. So the problem is that cars are parked most of the time. Because what do you use your car for? You commute to work, you commute back. And that's, maybe you run an errand. But that's all you do with your car. And it's sitting in a parking lot or your driveway all the rest of the time. According to a study done by General Motors, cars are currently parked 95% of the time. So I kind of assumed that if a car was running, it was awake, and if it was off, it was sleeping. And I generously gave it, if cars were asleep for 12 hours a day, is basically how much they slept. So currently, cars emit 15% of the man-made CO2 in the air. That's when they only run 5% of the time. If they are running 12 hours a day, or 50% of the time, we're multiplying that figure by 10, and now we're emitting 235% of our current CO2 production into the atmosphere, which last time I checked is bad. It's bad to put all that CO2 in the atmosphere. Something about it getting warm.
How did we fuck up the environment with this question? The hell is wrong with us?
Yeah, well, maybe if we didn't put all our inanimate objects through what would be a waking hell, maybe I wouldn't have had to resort to doing cars.
Treat your inanimate objects better, people.